Hey look, they built a new movie theater across the street. Welcome to the Dive-In, Drive-In movie theater. Movie showings. Tonight, The Adventures of Dung Beetle Man at 10 o'clock. These superhero movies are getting kinda crazy these days, but I got nothing else better to do. Let's watch a movie. Oh yeah, I got my popcorn and I got my soda. Time for the movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, your film will begin shortly, but first, a word from our advertisers.
Aw man, these commercials take too long. Hello, my name is Soybean, the great builder of the Classic Plus City. I'm here to give you a public service announcement from the future. If you are a citizen, avoid the lake at all costs. A great beast lies beneath the surface. The Kraken. The Kraken is a very mysterious beast. Many do not know of its existence. The Kraken is invisible to almost all of us, but when it chooses you, you can't run from it. It has the ability to enter your mind and entice you towards the lake, where you will most likely meet your demise. The biggest sign that the Kraken has chose you is that it will reign perpetually over your head, and there is no way to stop it. Finally, to my past self, do not build near the lake. Building the park isn't worth it. Now I must face the beast alone. Wow, my future self is a major buzzkill. Well, I didn't feel like watching a movie anyway. Besides, I have to get up early tomorrow. I gotta build a park near the lake. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Plus City Project. My name is Soybean, and the Classic Plus City Project is a series where I am building a city within the Classic Plus mod, and occasionally going over some of the features as well. As you can see here, we are standing in front of the Sunnyside Hotel and Resort. This was built in the last episode, but in today's episode, the build is kind of complicated. It's not just one thing. You can kind of see one of them already on the left-hand side of my screen there. But, yeah, we have a lot to discuss when it comes to that, and we also have a lot to discuss when it comes to the mod itself. So, yeah, let's get right into it. The Classic Plus mod is nearing its end of development, which is quite sad, but at the same time quite exciting, which I will explain in a moment. Version 1.9 of Classic Plus is the last major release of the mod, and it will be released soon. It will most likely be out by the time I release this video. Unfortunately, I missed covering a major feature that was added in the last update, 1.8, and that is SMP. I did a YouTube stream of it at least, so if you want to see how well that went, I will have the video linked in the description. With Classic Plus ending, you may say, what is next? Well, one thing I've never properly explained is that Method isn't just working on Classic Plus on its own. Classic Plus is just one of 3 mods being developed under the Legacy Plus project. The other mods include InDev Plus and InfDev Plus, which are mods that improve upon those eras of Minecraft respectively. Currently, only Classic Plus is being developed at the time of this recording. However, InDev Plus will begin its development very soon. So what does that mean for Classic Plus City Project? Well, not a whole lot really. I will be checking out InDev Plus when it's released, but a series on it may have to be reserved for someone else. Because I will still be here building this city. Today we are going to be building the Lake Inferior National Park. Now, according to my future self, I shouldn't build near this lake because apparently there's a Kraken in the water. I don't know, my future self sounds crazy. So we're going to ignore my future self, and we're going to do this anyway. And yeah. But mainly, I want to go over with you guys exactly what we're going to be doing here. That's why I haven't built anything yet. You can see here that we have this road that kind of follows the shore of the lake here. The path of this road will probably change a bit, but First thing that we're going to focus on, and is going to be the main focus of today's episode, is a city hall slash park office. That's going to be built over here. It's going to be the main or central hub of the park. But I've also wanted to build a city hall for the longest time. Actually, this resort here was originally going to be the city hall until I changed my mind. But over here, we're gonna have a bit of just a regular park, like some trees, a pavilion or two, some benches, just your stereotypical city park. And then over here is gonna be some lake housing, like expensive lake houses that people can buy, lakefront property, which will be kind of nice. And then over here, I haven't really decided what's gonna happen over in this corner yet, but we'll get there when we get there. And this corner over here, is going to be an amusement park, like Ferris wheels, roller coasters, bunch of rides and stuff. Maybe a county fair kind of a deal. That's exactly what I want to do over here. But this is going to be a multi-episode process. That's why I haven't built anything yet. And like I said, we're going to focus on the city hall slash park office. And this building is going to be a lot of different themes in one. Because when you build in Classic, you need to have a lot of imagination when building. Because if you build one building with just one theme, it tends to get stale or boring. So you have to put a lot of imagination and thought, or maybe even a backstory in what you're doing. So, yeah, let's get started. Well, isn't this just the best city hall you've ever seen? Ah, this took so long, and I am so happy with it. This came out really well. This cake-like formation here, this is the actual city hall part, and this longer form building, this is the actual park office. But we'll get into more of this in detail in a minute. But first, look at this sign over here when it pops in the render. Look at it. It's sunk into the ground. Oh, this is just so frustrating. All of my signs. Because this isn't just one sign. It's every single sign across the entire map that I've placed and replaced, because I've had to replace a lot of them, have sunk into the ground. All of the work writing all these signs have now gone to waste. And it's extremely unfortunate because this can't be fixed. Method told me that this cannot be fixed. And that just makes it more frustrating, but I'm trying to look on the bright side of all this. It is kind of funny if you think about it, but I work so hard on all these signs and they just randomly pop in, because this has been a problem since the very inception of this mod, and I think just Classic in general, and I have not experienced it until now, after I placed 100 signs probably. So, and also the words on the sign, it's just listing build ideas, it's not really anything permanent or anything. So yeah, that's extremely upsetting, but you know, we move on, we push forward. If I have enough ambition, I will go around and fix every sign, but I don't know just yet. So let's actually get into the city hall here. For this city hall, I really wanted to focus on a nice presentation, a nice outward appearance for this entire building. As you can see, I used a lot of the purple bricks here as a nice pillar-like structure outside this place. Also using the wood as well, and also staggering the levels a bit to give a little bit more detail. And I use a lot of curvature for a lot of archways and this platform here, as I'm trying to experiment with that a little bit more. I used a lot of greenery and flowers as well to kind of give it that nice pop of color, and using these trees here as well to kind of break up the texture of the flat walls a bit. But also, we have a nice little courtyard here. This is really your main little area that you come in when you park your car, and you walk through on this nice cobblestone, rocks, and mossy cobblestone pathway. You actually saw me build this here in the time-lapse, at least a little bit of it. And also in that time-lapse, you kind of see what the process I go through when building. There's a lot of backtracking, a lot of second-guessing. There's a reason why this takes so long. Because, you know, I don't really plan a whole lot of my builds. I usually just kind of build it and see what happens. But I'm kind of realizing as of late that I need to kind of pay more attention and plan things out a little bit more. But let's start over here, shall we? We have a mailbox, because this is also a post office. Add that to the list of what this what this building is. So you have your little slot here where you put all the mail, put the flag up, you know, mailbox. Over here is your the flagpole for the city. This is the official Classic Plus City flag, and yes, it is my t-shirt or my face, whatever you consider it, to be on my skin here. So yeah, this is the official flag of the Classic Plus City, and we have a nice little garden here with some flowers, a nice bush ring here around it to give a nice little presentation. We have the same thing over here. We have a nice little communal area to sit by the fire and talk about whatever, the nice windows that we have here, or the building, or anything else interesting. And then over here, I want you to give me a guess of what this is. You can probably tell with the wool sitting in there, but this is a phone booth, because people working in the city hall, government officials, are probably a bit out of touch. So they have a phone booth because, you know, cell phones are a new concept to these people. So they come in here and sit here and pay a nickel to call someone. I don't know how a phone booth works. I never used one. But I did build one here. And yeah. Also, there's some missing glass here. Whoops. Huh. It started raining. Well, it's probably nothing. It's fine. Anyway, let's get in where it's warm. So, this is the first floor of the City Hall building here. And first thing I want to talk about here is the front desk here. And since this is also a post office, this is where you would come and talk to the people at the desk and get any packages that you've been sent, or you need to send a package, anything that doesn't fit in a mailbox. And back here, you just got some a nice cobblestone floor, and you have some chairs and computers and a bunch of filing cabinets with a bunch of mail and different types of mail and shelves and all this fun stuff, and using the violet bricks as well as the pillars, and using a nice gold blocks here as a trim to go around the whole place to kind of break up the pebbles texture that I've used for the floor and for the ceiling here, because this is also the carpet for the next floor above me here. So over here is the little lounge, so if you need to come and visit a representative and you've already talked to the people at the desk, just come here, sit, just kind of wait. Basically a waiting room, basically. And yeah, this is also your P.O. boxes, because this is also a post office, like I said. So if you have mail for your P.O. boxes, you just come in here, and you have a nice little room that isn't scary looking at all. And come here and find the box that's yours, and boom. Come back out here, and look above us here, there is some PA speakers. So if you need to get a hold of somebody, you just get on the phone and page somebody, and that's what these are for. Or they could be also cameras as well, make sure everybody's not, causing any trouble. And come over here, we have the other side of the desk here, and this is the staircase that leads up to the second floor, to the government offices. But if we look over here, this wall is just basically full of detail, with bookshelves, slabs, and bushes. But this area here is kind of my imagination for like a place where all these government officials are selling their books, political books, maybe, I don't know. Or this is also a tourist area, so there's pamphlets and brochures and all this stuff for the park. It's, because we are next to the park, even though it is raining still. Oh well. But out here, through this archway, is the City Hall Lounge. And the City Hall Lounge is basically the same thing that you in the waiting area over there. Just some stand-up tables to sit at and talk, and you have some seating here, which is in the shape of a C and a plus sign for obviously Classic Plus. And then we have, more of these bricks here to add this pillar-like shape to the outside of the building. Bushes, of course. Yeah, and more seating over here as well. So yeah, very, very simple out here, but this is the City Hall Lounge if you need more of a waiting area. So yeah. But now let's head up to the the second floor, rather, of the government offices. Now, let's walk up this nice spiral staircase made out of these wooden slabs. These spiral staircases can be hard to make, but once you do it quite a bit and you get used to it, they're not that bad. But they can be a pain to do at first, like this one was. But here, we are on the first floor, and this is the legislative offices. So this is where all your representatives will be working, and we have some nice bookshelves here, some probably important files and stuff are stored, and some potted plants, bushes, the typical stuff. You have maybe some stacked papers or something sitting here, newspapers maybe, and we have these archways that signify where the staircases are. So this is the one that we came from, and then we have one over here that leads up to the next floor, but we'll get to that in a minute. And these are the offices here, and now this style is very reminiscent of what we've done in the Hotel and Resort and Minecraft Motors, because we have these slabs here as like a trim to break up this texture, because this is all I have. Slabs are the only block in the game that isn't a full block, other than flowers and stuff, but I don't really consider those blocks. So yeah, these are the offices here, and most of these are the same. It's basically an office chair here, a desk, keyboard, computer, and you have like a presentation TV here, or maybe even just a regular TV, some bookshelves or files or filing cabinets, and you have some lights, some rafters, and this is like a whiteboard for notes or something you want to write down. And yeah, and then this chair here is where the guest would be sitting, or whatever. And these offices are mostly the same, but except for these back two over here. Yeah, these back two are committee meeting room. So this is where a bunch of representatives will come in, and maybe the mayor himself or herself will come here and talk about whatever needs done in the city. And same over here as well. There is another committee meeting room, and we have a nice sea window here with a nice view into the visitor center of the park office, which we'll take a look at a little bit. So yeah, this is the legislative offices, and now let's go up to the commercial offices up here. So up here we have more of the same. We have more of the same bookshelves, some stacked papers, potted plants, except these offices are a little bit smaller. In here is the archway to the next set of stairs, which we'll take a look at in a moment. But we got more offices which are the same layout as the ones downstairs. But we come over here. Since this is the commercial offices, this is where like businesses would come in if they have any issues and need to talk to representatives. So businesses have few corporate leaders, so the committee meetings are a lot smaller because less people are involved. So you have just a few representatives and probably a couple CEOs or whatever. So they're in this. There is a committee meeting room here, and then there's another room over here as well, with a whiteboard and presentation TV. Is there one? No, just a whiteboard. So yeah, and yet again using the slabs here as a trim, and we have this rafters here as well to add more detail. That's also downstairs as well, and I forgot to mention. But we have more of these archways again, trying to add more detail, which is always a constant theme that I am always going to be mentioning, is detail, detail, detail. So now, let's go up to the last floor in this city hall. So up here is Cubicle Land. This is where all people are working up here, doing all the business transactions, all this stuff. Oh, it seems to be leaking through the roof. Nice. These is your cubicles here, obviously. But over here, these small little spots here, this is like a call center. So these is where people are sitting and on their computer talking to a bunch of people with complaints, concerns, whatever. And there's a nice row of these call centers here. And then we work our way over here, and these are your cubicles that are very, very tightly packed. Very tight working conditions, probably messy, probably hot in here because, heat rises and we are in the top of this building. And I have these dirt slabs and dirt blocks laid about here to kind of resemble like clutter. A bunch of papers and stuff being, stacked around and all this stuff, a bunch of office supplies. As well as over here we have filing cabinets with stacked papers and, using these bushes and bookshelves to add detail yet again. And over here with command blocks and the slabs, this is like your copying machine, your printer, or maybe a fax machine if this office was built in 2004 when fax machines were more popular. Anyway, now this is like a board for the stock market exchange, I guess you could say. I don't know how the stock market works or what it means. All I know is that there's red and green thing, like some stocks are up, some stocks are down, whatever, and they have this board here to keep track, I guess. So that's what this is for, and that was inspired, obviously by stock market stuff. So yeah, this is the final floor of the city hall. Came together quite well in my opinion, and even though the floors are staggered, they're not all the same size, they still worked out pretty well. But now let's get into the park office, or also the visitor center. This is where the fun begins. So the park office and visitor center can be accessed through this archway here in the waiting room, or it can be accessed through the main entrance over here. Now, the visitor center is kind of like a museum, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about in here, so let's get started.
You should have turned back when you still had the chance.
Oh no. No. There's no such thing as a Kraken. Get this vision out of my head. Everything's fine. We gotta push forward. Alright, so when we walk in here, we have this nice green path that leads us to everywhere we need to go in the visitor center, as labeled by the giant visitor and center sign. My idea was when you walked in here, you were supposed to see the visitor first and then turn your head and see center, but I'm starting to realize that maybe I should have swapped these, but it's whatever. You get the point. So first thing you're going to notice here is we have like display cases over here, as well as some whiteboards and some TVs. Now, since I said this was kind of like a museum, you're going to see some facts written out on the whiteboard here, maybe, and some other cool stuff, and some videos playing here as well for other random stuff about the park or the city, and if we follow this green path, there's more of this over here, but we'll get to that in a second. If you follow this green path, you can head over to the Coral Reef exhibit, or I guess whatever this is. You can sit at the couch and see what the coral reef used to look like in the lake, because all of it's gone, and now it's in the this little tank here. And in this tank we have some blue coral blocks, some yellow, red, and purple, and some leaves as well, to kind of represent algae, and as well as mud and sand at the bottom. But if we come back over here, we'll actually head towards the center desk, or I guess you could say front desk. But if you need to talk to anybody about the park, a park ranger, or you need to pay somebody money, this is where you go. This is the center desk of the entire visitor center. And it can also be accessed through the city hall as well, like I said earlier, through this archway. You have a nice little green path here as well. Over here, before I miss it, there is a little rock and fossil collecting area. So if you have kids or whatever and you need them entertained, you come over here and they can dig for fossils or gemstones. It's a kind of a little of a fun activity that they can do while you're walking around the visitor center. And over here as well, there is a map of the city as it is currently. So if you want to look for a destination, you just look at this map, and yeah, you shouldn't get lost. As well as more of these TVs and whiteboards here along the entire wall here, so information overload. But then we come back over here, and this exhibit is there's supposed to be a human in here. So actually, if I break this, get inside, press G, fly back out. This is supposed to be an exhibit of like early human history in the city or in this park, whatever. This was kind of a stretch, but this was trying to force a unique idea over here. But yeah, and we move on to this guy over here. Now this is a dinosaur fossil, so perhaps with some excavation of the land or whatever, they have found some dinosaur bones. And this structure took me a little while to make. Trying to make a dinosaur fossil in this mod is a little bit tough, but this was the best I could do. So the facial structure up here is a little goofy, I admit, but yeah, whatever. It's a dinosaur. And over here is a little theater section where you can sit down and watch a mini documentary about the lake, about the park, about the city, whatever they have going on here. And over here we have a little lounge to sit at as well. But now let's head up to the balcony, the balcony up here, and see what's going on. When you get up to the balcony here, you're gonna have to notice that we need to go in a clockwise motion, because the staircase doesn't lead to this side of the balcony. We're gonna have to walk all the way around. But we'll talk about this balcony over here in a second, because we have this nice window design to look at with some bushes, and this is just mainly a scenic walk you can take. Take a look at the wooden rafters and the nice lighting system I have going on, as well as using slabs for some detail. Yet again. Oh, I'm stuck on a leaf. Anyhow, we get over here, and we're going to see the different tree types that you will see in the city or in the park. And we have the cedar trees here with the cedar leaves, and we have the different longs and the different leaves. We have the cedar leaves, regular leaves, and the cave leaves, I guess what these are called. And then you can see the different flower types as well, and possibly some books and stuff on these flowers and plants. And then here we have the red mushroom, brown mushroom, sapling, and the shrub. And as well as a nice classic tree, one of my favorite trees in the entire mod. As well, and then we get over here, we have a lounge area for more seating. And then as we get over here, oh, this must be a Kraken arm? There's no way. Krakens don't exist. I'm tired of this visions that I'm having. There's no way the Kraken doesn't exist. this is probably just some fake thing that they put up. But yes, apparently there's a Kraken arm here. That's that's kind of funny, cashing in on the conspiracy theory. Oh, okay, very funny. Oh, and here's the window that you could see from the city hall that I was looking through earlier, but now we're on the other side of it. And then over here is some just more storage area and a nice little rocking chair to sit at and just stare at everything from this side if you so desire. But now let's get over to the beginning of the balcony again, and we're going to talk about this little balcony here. And this one isn't very special, but has a nice little curvature to it, and it has a creeper face in the rocks, and some nice stand-up tables, yeah, and a nice little bench. Ow. What happened? I don't feel very good. Oh no, it's the Kraken.
You were warned, yet you still decided to challenge me.
What is this? I'm being pulled. I can't escape.
Your fate lies with me now.
Listen, I'm sorry, Kraken. I didn't mean to.
It is too late for apologies now. You will pay the ultimate price.
Alright. Fine. If I'm going down, then you're going down with me.
You will try.
Take this, you foul beast.